A genius girl from a medical family who accidentally travels through an era novel and becomes a vicious female supporting character in it. Ye Xiaoxiao is the fake daughter of the Hao family. She has lived in the courtyard of the capital since childhood and is the white moonlight of the young people in the courtyard. Until the age of 17, the true daughter returned and the gears of fate began to turn. The white moonlight turned into rice grains, and admirers changed their wallets one after another. In contrast to the inspirational female lead, she was demoted to nothing. Moreover, Ye Xiaoxiao's biological parents and family are like cannon fodder in the book. My father died tragically from a fall on a hillside, and my mother fell ill from overwork and was bedridden. Big brother became rich through hard work, but while working in the mining area, he encountered a mine accident, and in the end, his family could not even receive compensation. My second brother had a successful career in the military camp, but later died in duty because he offended his leader and was sent to carry out dangerous tasks. San has business talent, and after becoming a master, he went smoothly, but was framed by his brothers due to commercial competition. The fourth brother is intelligent and wise, but due to a medical accident, his muscles contracted and he became paralyzed. Ye Xiaoxiao, who came wearing a book, looked at his family who had taken care of him in every way and secretly decided. Go to his mother's original book, and I will change my life against the heavens. A few years later, Hao Yanyan, who had put in a lot of effort to escape from her foster parents, accidentally reunited with her family. Who can tell her why her father became an instructor and her mother became a professor? The eldest brother is a mining tycoon, the second brother is the most promising military officer, the third brother runs his own multinational trading company, and the fourth brother is a graduate student from a prestigious university. Even the king of hell, often mentioned by the children of the courtyard, has become the son.In.Law of the Ye family. Ye Xiaoxiao held her husband in her left hand and the doll in her right hand. Good days are earned by herself. Chapter 1. Rebirth 1983. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Cold. It's so cold. Ye Xiaoxiao opened his eyes with a shiver, and through a faint yellow light, he saw a dilapidated and dimly decorated room. The roof could still see exposed wooden beams, and the surrounding walls were covered with yellowed newspapers. The north wind howled outside the window, making a loud noise on the thin window paper. Cough cough. Ye Xiaoxiao opened his mouth to speak, but spat out a series of urgent coughs. The door of the house was immediately pushed open, and a short-haired woman in her 40s walked in. Her voice was filled with eagerness as she spoke. Neil, you've finally woken up. Old Lu from the village said that if you burn again, you'll burn your brain out. The snow is blocking the mountain, and the road to the health center is not easy to walk. Ye Xiaoxiao was lost in thought and did not respond. The woman, in this dimly lit environment, took out a thermos and tea bowl on her own, poured a cup of hot water, and brought it over. Mom knows it's our family's fault for you. If it weren't for the mistake you made while giving birth at the military hospital, you wouldn't have found our family so late. The conditions in the city are good, and if you're willing to go back to the Hao family, wait for the good weather and let your father and brother take you back, but you don't dare to run around. You're lucky enough to be seen by your fourth brother. You can still be saved if you fall into the ice hole. If you're a little late, you'll be dead. The teapot filled with hot water was stuffed into Ye Xiaoxiao's hand, finally restoring some warmth to her body. Where is this? You. What's your name? Miao Cuifang was a bit surprised that she had forgotten even the place name, and as for her own name, this young lady who had come from the city to search for relatives was the first time she had asked her this question. Xiaoxiao, this is Baishir village, Songlin town, Baichuan county, Chongling city, Heiyun province. I am your mother Miao Cuifang, and there are also your father Yi Jiangwo, your brother Yi Chongqing, and your sister.In.Law at home. As soon as Ye Xiaoxiao heard the beginning, she felt even more headache and said she wasn't that lucky. Sure enough, she wasn't a survivor of the plane crash, but a pure rebirth. She was also reborn into an 80s-era novel, in which the female protagonist, Hao Yanyan, is a reborn person. In the first chapter of the book, it is written that in order to get rid of her previous tragic life, the reborn Hao Yanyan embarked on a journey to the capital to find her family in advance. The Hao family quickly accepted this reality and, according to Hao Yanyan's instructions, exchanged the surnames of their adopted daughter and biological daughter. However, Xiaoxiao, a fake Qianjin who was raised by the Hao family, was unwilling to face reality. She traveled across mountains and rivers to the Ye family in Baishir village with her identity card that had already been exchanged. However, she stayed in this poor home for only 7 days before being unable to stay and prepare to leave. Due to the blizzard weather, the Ye family tried to stop them, but they were treated as ill-intentioned by Xiaoxiao. They secretly slipped out of their house and fell into the artificially excavated ice hole on the river, which had not been fully frozen. Fortunately, with Yi Changsheng following silently, she was rescued in time after an accident and was spared. Yi Xiaoxiao took a sip of hot water and realized that there was also brown sugar inside, which was sweet and warm to his lips and teeth. "Thank you, Mom. I understand now." Yi Xiaoxiao calmed his confused thoughts and said in a hoarse voice. Miao Cuifang was even more shocked. This child was calling her mother for the first time after coming home. Although the other party came over with the identification of Yi Xiaoxiao, they always felt that their surname was Hao and they were just poor relatives living in the countryside. Miao Cuifang sighed and said to herself that the child was really confused, even her temperament had changed. Yi Xiaoxiao only took a few sips of water and couldn't swallow it anymore. His throat was sore and his body was soft, so he could only continue to lie down. Miao Cuifang took the teapot and helped Yi Xiaoxiao tuck in the blanket before leaving the room. Yi Xiaoxiao was upset. She came from a medical family. Her elders, brothers and sisters are all doctors. She is also a student of the medical department. Although she has not graduated from the university, she has been influenced by her family environment since childhood and has been able to prescribe prescriptions independently. I just didn't expect her to be powerless against her small fever and cold now. Maybe she'll burn her brain, so she'll get a chance for rebirth in vain. Thinking that she had already died in the real world, she couldn't help but shed tears. It's okay if she dies, anyway. After her parents remarried, few people cared about her anymore. Yi Xiaoxiao was feeling dizzy and her head was bulging, and she was thinking wildly until someone lifted her tattered quilt and began to untie her cotton jacket. Yi Xiaoxiao was about to struggle when she heard Miao Cuifang's voice. "An'ire, don't move around. I'll get you some warm wine to wipe your body. If the fever doesn't subside, I'll have to take you to the town clinic tomorrow." The warm alcohol bath does have a fever-reducing effect, but the alcohol needs to be diluted. Yi Xiaoxiao now doesn't have to worry about whether the dilution standard meets the standard. He only feels like he has been rubbed back and forth like a salted fish, and then tightly covered under the cotton quilt. After a while, a younger woman spoke outside. "Mom, I poured some hot water into the bottle and stuffed the little girl into the blanket." Miao Cuifang took over and put Yi Xiaoxiao away until she watched him fall asleep before turning around and leaving the room. After closing the door, Miao Cuifang asked her eldest daughter.In.Law, "How is old C doing?" Zhang Shui looked worried and said, "It's still burning. If the fever doesn't subside tonight, as old Lu said, we'll have to go to the town and take a look." Old Lu too is a barefoot doctor in the village. Although he doesn't have any major skills, he has a small headache and fever that the villagers love to look for him. In addition, Baishir village is remote and poor. As long as it is not a serious illness, no one is willing to go to the town's health center. Let's take a look tomorrow. Miao Cuifang's biggest concern now is not the illness of her 2 children. She is worried about what to do if Xiaoxiao recovers from her illness and makes a fuss to leave. Even if their family is willing, would the Hao family still be willing to raise a child without blood ties? Miao Cuifang decided to talk to her old man about this matter. This night's sleep made Yi Xiaoxiao very restless. In the morning, there were several sounds of roosters crowing in her ears, which pulled her from the thousands of miles high in the new century into the northeast Kong in 1983. Xiaoxiao moved her body, feeling a damp and uncomfortable sensation, but the high fever had already subsided. She took a breath and didn't have to become a fool. Picking up the clothes on the Kong and putting them on, I had time to carefully examine the room. Although it was dilapidated and small, it was neatly organized. Last night, except for occasional people coming in to touch her forehead, no one slept with her. This family understands the rules and has good conduct. She opened the window and looked outside at the courtyard, which should be a small room in the west-leaning room. Cooking smoke has risen in the yard, and figures are walking back and forth. Xiaoxiao woke up and saw a mirror on the wooden cabinet on the floor. She looked inside at the people. The original owner had a delicate face, bright eyes and white teeth. The proportion of facial features on his oval face was excellent, and his eyes were as smooth as spring lotus. His black hair hung on his shoulders, smooth as a waterfall. Surprisingly, this face bears a striking resemblance to her original appearance, albeit at a younger age. And truly worthy of being the malicious female supporting character in the book, the white moonlight of the courtyard children, such a good appearance that I still pity at first sight can easily make people overlook her arrogant and vicious nature. In the original book, this malicious female supporting character was only exposed for her true identity towards the end, and was despised by everyone. In the end, she ended up living a miserable life in prison. But all of this has nothing to do with Xiaoxiao anymore. She realized that in order to live a decent life, one must stay away from the male and female protagonists. If you don't want to die, don't go back to the capital according to the original setting in the book to cause trouble for Hao Yanyan, and don't compete for that unreliable fiancé. The female lead is reborn, I am a bookworm, and we all have a bright future. Xiaoxiao pressed her heart and said firmly. Ye suddenly, the wooden door pushed open, and a child with a tiger's head and a tiger's brain poked in from outside. Chapter 2. Changing Fate. You are listening at novel full.audio. Auntie is awake. Yi Baoqing's voice startled everyone in the yard who was sweeping snow. Miao Cuifang walked in from outside and said, Xiaoxiao, why are you up? Let me see if the fever has subsided, don't catch a cold again. Although Xiaoxiao has decided to stay at the Ye family, he is not familiar with them yet. Upon hearing this, he just touched his nose and said, my fever has subsided. You also need to rest well. It's too cold outside, wear thicker clothes before coming out. Miao Cuifang dug out an old cotton jacket and brought it to Xiaoxiao. Although it had been patched, it was washed clean and much thicker than the one she was currently wearing. Although the original owner brought a suitcase with fashionable and beautiful clothes inside, it was not warm at all. Thank you. They're all part of the same family, so please be polite. Miao Cuifang clearly felt a bit at a loss and turned to pick up her grandson Yi Baoqing. Let's not disturb your aunt's rest, she said. Yi Baoqing is the child of brother Xiaoxiao, who is 5 years old this year. I want to play with my aunt. Yi Baoqing twisted his body with open teeth and claws, curious about the sudden addition of a little ant at home. But a few days ago, my aunt ignored me. Be obedient. Miao Cuifang reached out and patted Yi Baoqing's buttocks, feeling a little aggrieved. Let him play with me. Xiaoxiao looked at Wei Chu Baba's child and took the initiative to say. Then you can play for a while. There's hot water in the thermos, wash your face first, and we'll have dinner later. Miao Cuifang didn't stop this time. Thinking that it would be beneficial for Xiaoxiao to spend more time with her family, she nodded at Yi Baoqing before leaving and said, listen to my aunt, be honest, otherwise I'll spank you. Yi Baoqing nodded with tearful eyes, and as soon as Miao Cuifang left, he suddenly became smiling. The little kid walked over and hugged Xiaoxiao's leg, saying, Auntie, you look so beautiful. Xiaoxiao. The stinky kid still has two faces. At such a young age, your mouth is so sweet. Let's go. Auntie will take you to wash your face. Xiaoxiao mixed the basin with water, washed it herself, and then washed Ye Baoqing's face clean. She retrieved the cream from the suitcase and applied it to the faces of the two. Seeing her luggage, Xiaoxiao had already thought to herself that there were many things she needed to prepare in order to stay here for a long time. Ye Baoqing looked up at his chubby face and obediently asked his aunt to give him some incense. He felt that the sudden addition of his aunt at home seemed different from a few days ago, but he couldn't say where it was different. It wasn't until dinner that Xiaoxiao gained a deeper understanding of the members and family situation of the Ye family. Sitting at the dinner table were the original owner's parents Ye Jiangwo and Miao Cuifang, eldest brother Ye Changqing, sister.In.Law Zhang Shui, two nephews, eldest nephew Ye Baoqing, and 3.Ye old nephew Ye Baoyuan. Xiaoxiao knew that the original owner also had grandparents, and now he lives with the uncle's family in front of the house. In addition, my second brother works in the military and only sends back some money tickets every month. San works in the forest farm across the river, with a rebellious personality and a bad relationship with Ye's father. He doesn't often go home. The family life of the Ye family is relatively good in this village because they have many sons and sufficient labor force. However, even so, they only live a simple life every day and rarely eat meat. Because the meat left from hunting in the mountains is exchanged for money and food outside. Moreover, Xiaoxiao also knew that when Hao Yanyan left the Ye family, she took away the savings that Ye Jiangwo and his wife had saved for half their lives, adding insult to injury to this not wealthy family. Xiaoxiao has eaten. Miao Cuifang handed the only bowl of egg custard on the table to Xiaoxiao. Ye Baoqing stared at his round big eyes. It smells so good, but his mother said it's for his aunt to eat. She's sick and needs to eat something nutritious. Xiaoxiao pursed her lips and scanned the simple faces of the family before finally meeting Ye Baoqing's face, which was about to show signs of saliva. The youngest Ye Baoyuan didn't know what had happened yet, but his big eyes were also staring at the egg custard on the table. Xiaoxiao picked up the egg custard and calmly divided it into 3 parts, placing 2 of them in the bowls of the 2 children. Xiaoxiao, this is for you to eat. They usually eat a lot, so don't worry about them. Miao Cuifang quickly intervened. She knew that Xiaoxiao was not used to the food at home, and had not eaten anything well during these days in the village, which made her look thin. Ye Baoqing also said sensible, Auntie, you eat. Xiaoxiao smiled at him and said, I don't like egg custard. Upon hearing Xiaoxiao's words, Ye Baoqing widened his eyes. Little aunt was so strange that she didn't even like egg custard. He likes his aunt more. Xiaoxiao picked up the bowl and took a bite of rice. This is not fine rice, it's sorghum rice, thick and hard. She chewed it for a long time before swallowing it, and it even made her throat ache. Xiaoxiao's thought of indulging in hardship is even reminiscent of sweet memories. After finishing the meal, Xiaoxiao helped his sister.In.Law pick up the bowl and met the surprised gaze of the other party. Zhang Shui quickly snatched the bowl back from Xiaoxiao's hand. She hasn't forgotten that when this sister first had her first meal at home, she dropped her bowl and said it wasn't something for people to eat. Xiaoxiao. Miao Cuifang and Ye Jiangwo's father and son were discussing things in the upper room. A few minutes later, Xiaoxiao saw them carrying out Ye Changqing, who was still feverish. Xiaoxiao asked, Where are you going? Miao Cuifang said, Lao Si is still running a fever, and Lao Lu's medicine is not effective. We need to go to the town to have a look. Upon hearing these words, Xiaoxiao finally remembered the plot recorded in the original book. The 4th senior member of the Ye family, Ye Changqing, was originally a top student with excellent academic performance. However, due to this high fever and illness, he became paralyzed and dropped out of school, living a miserable life at home. Part of the reason for Ye Changqing's tragedy is due to the doctors at the health center making mistakes, but more importantly, it is because the money of the Ye family was secretly taken by Hao Yanyan, and he was unable to send Ye Changxing to the county hospital for better treatment after experiencing physical problems, which worsened his condition and was irreparable. After Ye Changxing's treatment failed, Ye Jiangwo's father and son pulled him back to Baisher village. On the way home, Ye Jiangwo slipped down the mountain slope and passed away. Many years later, the female protagonist, who had already achieved great success, returned to Baisher village, hoping to return the money she had taken from the Ye family dozens of times. However, at that time, the Ye family had already died and been injured, and even this courtyard could not be preserved. The female protagonist has been feeling guilty for this and is using her network of connections to search for the whereabouts of the Ye family. But as an inconspicuous little character in the book, Ye Xiaoxiao read the entire book and was not very clear about the ending of the Ye family, only knowing that the entire ending was tragic. Ye Xiaoxiao frowned, wondering if it was this accident that paralyzed Ye Changxing from being a proud son of heaven in bed. Now the mountain road is difficult to navigate, and if you want to get to the town, you can only use a scooter to pull people all the way. While others were still talking, Ye Xiaoxiao went into the house and flipped out her wallet. Although the original owner had a charming personality, she received good treatment at the Hao family with a lot of pocket money. This time, she brought more than 500 yuan with her, and after deducting travel expenses, there are still about 400 yuan left. Thinking of the situation at home, Ye Xiaoxiao carried the money into his arms and ran out. Ye Jiangwo has already set up the car. In addition to Ye Changqing, there is also Ye Changyuan, the older brother of the uncle's family in the front yard, who came to help. A cotton quilt was placed on the wooden cart, tightly surrounding Ye Changxing. Ye Xiaoxiao. I'll go too. Xiaoxiao, you stay at home with your mother and sister. In.Law. Even if you want to leave, you have to wait for the snow to melt before leaving. Ye Changqing looked puzzled. I don't want to leave, I need to go to the hospital with you. As Ye Xiaoxiao spoke, she opened a small slit around Ye Changxing's quilt and saw the other person's delicate eyebrows, eyes, and scorching face. Siggy's situation is very serious, we must take medication in a timely manner. If the medicine in the health center is not effective, then we need to go to the county hospital. Baisher village is adjacent to a large mountain, with rugged roads. Usually, only the large cars from the forest farm come and go a few times a month, but they have already stopped operating in winter. And when it comes to the town, the road will be easy to walk and open to traffic. As long as you have money, it is very convenient to go to the county town. Ye Changqing looked at Ye Jiangwo. Chapter 3. I am also a doctor. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 4. Difficult Conditions. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 5. Recognizing Reality. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 6. Old Traditional Chinese Medicine. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 7. Canon Ash Little Brother 1. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 8. Preparing to sell melon seeds. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 9. First Barrel of Gold. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 10. First Dividend. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text.